Hi everyone, I wanted to welcome you all to Philosophy 115. I'm Dr. Sheely, I'll be the professor for the course. In this video, I wanted to talk to both the 8-week and 16-week students, so it's going to be the same video for both classes. I wanted to explain the difference between the two. They're the same course, just spread out over different amounts of time. That way you can decide which one is best for you. Next, I wanted to talk about how the course is organized and how you find everything. But also explain the difference between the 8-week and 16-week course. So you go over here to Modules, and you'll see everything laid out for you. So the writing assignment and discussion for that has its own separate module. And then every week, and by the way, here we're looking at the 16-week course. Every week you're going to have approximately 2 lessons. So first week you'll have 2 lessons. You'll have the lecture and reading for the lesson, and then the discussions or quizzes that are associated with it. It's pretty straightforward. Now, just to compare the 8-week version of the course, again, you have the same essay module, but notice that week 1 has 3 lessons, and then week 2 has, well, 1, 2, 3, 4 lessons. So in other words, each week is going to have twice the number of lessons. So one way to break this down is that each lesson is designed to take about an hour to do, a little more, a little less, depending on how it works. So the 16-week version of the course is going to have, well, about 2 to 3 hours of work per week. If you're taking the 8-week version, then you can expect that to double. So in other words, you're looking at 4 to 5 hours per week. So what does that mean for taking the course? Well, both courses are exactly the same. But the way I would put it is this: if you are in a situation where you need to finish the course sooner, say for example because you need to transfer or you need the credits or something like that, I would take the 8-week course, especially if you have the time every week to devote to the course. On the other hand, if you're in a situation where you have to work, say 40 hours a week or more, you have less time per week to devote to the course, or maybe you're like me and you just like to take your time learning things, I would recommend the 16-week version. So either way, it's up to you. It's just designed to be flexible that way. Now in this next part of the video, I wanted to talk about some common questions that students ask, but then also give you some tips for how to be successful in this course. Common questions students ask: do I need to buy a textbook for this course? Well, actually, as it turns out, the textbook for this course is what we call an open educational resource, and it is entirely free. So to find it, you go to the front page of the class. You'll see a link off to the side panel here. This one says Textbook Fall 2020. And it'll send you right here. And this is the textbook for the course, approximately 175 pages. This has all been put together by myself and Professor Levin in the philosophy department. And you'll notice that every lesson corresponds to a chapter from the book. Overall, it's designed to be easy to use and to guide you through logic in a reasonable way. Another common question I get is, how is my grade determined in this class? Well, you can think of your grade a bit like a pie with 5 parts. So there's the participation, you have 3 exams: first exam, second exam, third exam, and an essay. Each one is worth 20%. In most cases, the grade ends up being best 3 out of 5. So for example, if you had 3 A grades and 2 B grades, it ends up being an A. If you have 3 Bs and 2 As, it ends up being a B. Keep in mind here at Golden West, we do not use plus or minus grades. Usually passing the course requires passing 3 out of the 5. The only exception to this is when you, let's say, don't turn something in. When you don't turn something in, then the grade becomes a 0, and that can really affect your score in a negative way. So you want to avoid doing that. Now finally here at the end, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to get the most out of this class. So, hi everyone, it's still me, but now a year later. So I'm watching my video that I made a year ago, and I like a lot of what I said. But here, when it comes to the important tips, I really want you to be successful. And I've taught this course for a year, and I've seen some things that people do that sometimes lead them to be not so successful. So I just want to help you out. So let's talk about how I think you can get the most out of this class. Okay, my first tip is to do a little bit of this class every day. So
make sure that you're doing some regular practice. And the reason for that is in a lot of courses you're going to have things to memorize, and then, I don't know, maybe you can forget it later. This course is different. We're actually working to build habits. If you think about it, this is a course all about thinking, and to change our thinking, we have to work on it over time. So we're trying to build new thinking habits. So really the best way to do that is to work on it every day. So I definitely recommend that. So don't put things off. Don't spend like a week without doing something in the course. Make sure that you're doing something regularly. My next recommendation is to try things out. Give yourself permission to experiment. Now what I mean by this is sometimes you're going to find that you're encountering things for the first time and you don't understand them immediately. That's okay. In fact, that's perfectly normal. So, try things out. Give yourself permission to try it, and also give yourself permission to mess up. It's okay. As you're going to discover, I like to say to students in this class that you're in a competition, but it's not a competition against your fellow classmates. You're in a competition against yourself from yesterday or from last week. So, for example, if something doesn't make sense, okay, no problem. Come to office hours, talk to me about it, and we're going to try to help you get better at it so that by next week you're a little bit better. Keep doing that. You're going to have a lot of success in this class. So my third recommendation is repetition, repetition, repetition. It's so important. I've repeated it 3 times. But this might seem a little bit old school, but some of the things we have to do here are going to look a lot like when you were in, say, 3rd or 4th grade learning your multiplication tables, right? And after a while, you got to a point to where if I said, 3 times 3, right, you could just shout out 9, right? Or 4 times 4, 16. Same thing. We're going to work to have a similar kind of mastery here. So, except instead of learning our multiplication tables, we're going to be learning things like modus ponens or certain other kinds of definitions. And so we really want to be working at those things as much as we can. So that goes back to some of my earlier points. Make sure you're working at this every day, right? Repeat it often. My 4th tip is to watch the videos. And of course, you're watching this video, and that's awesome. But it's important to realize that even a short video like this one, which may be 7 or 8 minutes long, it probably took me 30 to 40, maybe even an hour to make. So the other reason to watch the videos, though, is that for some things, you're going to find that there's some good sources that you can find online. However, I've actually gone to a lot of trouble to already look for those sources. So here's the other thing. Sometimes those sources that you might find on YouTube or wherever, they may be incorrect. They may not be very good. If you find a source that's outside of what we're doing in the class, please bring it to my attention. By the way, if you see something that tells you that induction means going from something general to something particular or something like that, run the other way. Run the other way. It's not going to help you in this class. My final recommendation is to be both critical and helpful, but really think about this class and our discussions a bit like a large community. This large community is something that we create together. And what I would recommend is as you're doing your discussions, and helping think about it like you're trying to help each other out. Again, things aren't always going to make sense to all of us, so if we can help bring some ideas to help each other understand things better, I think that's going to make all of us learn the material a lot better. Finally, I just wanted to say I'm really excited to be working with all of you. I think it's going to be a great term. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I believe this term I will likely have office hours both in person and online. You're always welcome to drop in. Thanks again for taking the class, and I look forward to talking to you in the discussion boards. Thanks.